Welcome back to another 10 days on the death road to Canada, where I have implemented measures to ensure that maybe our recording will be a tad bit better than it normally is. Starting things off with the good old town of Travs. We need a paranoid character. High wits, low attitude. Eleanor! Boom, big rewards. It's been a while since I last played. About a week. Hospital raid, packed grocery store, fancy office. Well, good thing that we need food, and I have time to burn. Get out, get out. Okay, yep. Oh, I forgot this person is... Out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. Thank you. Alright, so... it's been about a week. It's been a little longer than I would have hoped, but I had my first week of college classes. Gonna be honest, it's a little more boring than I expected, probably because I know all the material I'm being taught. Let's not worry about the stuff that was essentially taught in Algebra 1. Let's focus on some good old Death Road to Canada, where we have you. I kind of forgot that I sent Lori through the machine 50 billion times. But you know what? That's not any problem. Let me just make sure I'm recording. Okay, I am, and as far as I can tell, the encoding's not getting overloaded terribly, so I should be fine, I hope. Let me alt-tab again. Okay. So basically, what I did, and you're going to perhaps face palm a bit with the good old, well, why didn't you do this before? Alright, so I basically just set the priority of both OBS and Death Road to Canada to high. So maybe we'll see a little bit better performance, maybe? Maybe. I don't know. There are a lot of zombos here. So let's talk about things while it's currently 2 a.m. as I'm recording this. I've noticed with some recent uploads that the core demographic of this channel is most certainly Death Road to Canada based. Which, of course, isn't bad. It isn't bad at all. I mean, I got this series going. It's going to be lasting for a while. So, naturally, that comes with the question of, well, what about all the other stuff that you make? Let me look at YouTube Studio. Alright, so let's just take, for example, the West of Loathing speedrun video that I uploaded most recently, a week ago. 6 minutes, 34 seconds. It's not the best, of course. I mean, it's a good effort. But of course, people aren't really going to watch that, because why would they watch my run when they can watch the world record? So I'm not really butthurt about that one. Where is it? The Lava Climb top 10 in the world. I honestly thought more people would watch it, but who knows? Maybe because it's shorter, people wouldn't be interested, because generally this channel is fit for long content. We're talking 40 minutes and up. Alright, well, Here is the one that stumps me a bit, and that is the Hell is Other Demons all levels without ultimate or weapons. I'm gonna be honest, I don't edit videos that much, and there is definitely some shoddy editing within the video, of course. But, I don't know, I just kind of thought more people would watch it. Maybe it's because, the game's kind of obscure. Maybe that's just it. I mean, it also is 51 minutes of a game that not many people know about. Which, I mean, that's fair, I suppose. But it got me thinking about, like, the sort of content that I'd be uploading to this channel. And I think generally what people enjoy is this sort of long form content where it just lasts for long periods of time. Generally, it's not really edited at all. I mean, the most that it would be is just some trimming of clips and such. And, yeah, that's basically it. It's just raw footage at long periods of time with commentary. I mean, let's just sort by my most viewed. Well, the first one is the first episode of this Endless series, but what was really weird for me is that my second most viewed video was actually of Hell is Other Demons. And I'm gonna be honest, that's confusing. Hold on, yeah, my microphone's going through. Sorry. But I was very confused by it. So, like, what could it mean? I mean, it got over 100 views. That's the only other video that I have on the channel currently that got over 100 views, and it is the exact opposite of what the first episode of the Endless Mode was. Endless Mode, it was very long. It had commentary throughout the entire thing, and of course, I mean, you gotta look at it and say, well, no editing at all. Meanwhile, the Hell's Other Demons, the Devourer with no weapon, it's 28 seconds. It is a trimmed clip of only that. I forget if I have it as a fade to black or something. I'm not entirely sure. And it's of a game that, like, not many people know about. But it's the second most viewed video I have. So I've just been kind of really confused if it was like mysterious YouTube algorithm working magic, blah blah blah, whatever. Or maybe it was just the actual content that caught the eye of so many people, because who knows, maybe there was just a big kick for people wanting to look up Hell's Other Demons content. Sure. Then I guess I can see that being the plausible explanation, because the video itself is extremely interesting for those that have played the game, because they've seen the, oh, let's beat all bosses with what is it? I forget the actual thing. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let me. Yeah, let me. Yeah, okay. So, like, whenever you hear Hell's Other Demons, most people would think, hold on, composure. I'm actually just gonna send everyone in. Composure's good enough. Okay, so like most people would think of, and I hate to say it, but Jorge Risto's video of it, where they beat all the bosses with no damage and no weapon. But there's an interesting note of it. Where it specifically says that the yellow boss, which is the Devourer, cannot be beaten without equipping a weapon. So I'm assuming that most people that have seen that video, they see the title of this and think, wait, what? So I'm just guessing that's the only plausible explanation I have. I really just don't have much else to go on. I mean, other than that, the most viewed videos are just all, endless modes content, so yeah. So where is this whole rambling leading me? Well, it's just sort of a question of what do I want to do with this channel? Do I just stick with this unedited form of content where I just talk on and on to an empty void? What do I do? I mean, I've streamed quite a bit. I have a lot of VODs saved on YouTube in a playlist that you can find if you check the playlist section of my channel. But it's just a question of, well, do I just leave them as VODs, or do I try and edit them down into videos? What do I do? Because there's a lot of interesting things that I've done on stream. A lot of the old streams I probably can't edit down well because it's a big choppy mess most of the time. I mean, I've gotten a big fix to that, thankfully, but it's just a whole, well, should I? Because, as far as I see it, I mean, I don't know if people would care enough to watch it, and I don't feel like putting in the effort for something like that if no one's going to, watch it. Because it's one thing to just sit down and record this for 40 minutes to an hour. I just sit here, I play the game, I want to play the game, and I finish, and that's it. I don't have to edit anything, I just upload it, I look around in the video for a thumbnail, and that's just the extent of the post-recording effort. But if I were to, edit down live streams, I mean, that would require me to just pour through hours of video to find exactly what to include, and then the question becomes, well, how long should it be, and what should I include, what shouldn't I include? It's just a big mess, and it's a lot of effort that I don't want to put in if people aren't going to care enough. So I'm just kind of at a bit of a conundrum in this aspect. I don't really know. I do know, though, that there are 2 videos that I would definitely make that are edited down, and it's because I just genuinely want to make them. Which would be, well, at the end of this series, one would be a compilation of all the characters that we have gained and lost throughout this journey. And then the other one would just be sort of a highlight reel. All the greatest moments from what will total around, if I were to guess, 70 hours of video, maybe? I'm just giving a rough estimate. Box bandage, stick, rhythm tube rifle. I mean, I don't need any of these. So I just don't really know what I would do. Dingus Nomicon. I'll take the Goblin Gift Basket. It's good enough. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just a bit stumped about that. Like, what content would be worth making for this channel? Because I always have extra underscore mystic for just miscellaneous things that wouldn't quite fit. Have I uploaded anything to that recently? I think I have. Yeah, okay, I did. That's healing, pipe bombs, demolitionist. I don't really need any of this. Yeah, I don't really know. Last sale at Yelmart. So, like, anything that I know for a fact wouldn't fit on this channel, I would definitely start uploading to there. Like, for example, the Hell's Other Demons stuff, if it's just, like, nonsensical clips, essentially, I post it there. I would start doing things. Okay. So, I don't know where I'm really going with my whole rambling. I'd say for now, I'll just play it by ear. I do have one more edited together video that I will be uploading soon once I've recorded all the footage for it. And that's just sort of like out of necessity, because otherwise what I've been doing won't really mean much. Yeah, I don't know. As it stands right now, this channel's just to relax, play games, and then just show off some amazing feats that I've done in video games. Nothing more, nothing less. Attack with, I'll use the charge coolant here. I don't want to risk the losing supplies when I have responses for other bandits. Perfect rock, I'll use full swan for this. Unlike any of these. Take Swarmed Arcade. So, I suppose this leads me into my next topic for talking about stuff. And that's stuff I want to make. Because I've said things that I could make, but I don't know if it would be worth it. I've said stuff that I'm already doing, and I'm fine with making, but stuff that I want to make, I haven't really talked about. So let me take a sip of water, and then I'll begin this. Alright. So, as one may tell from a glance at my channel, it started out on the most unusual game ever. A game called Pixel Shooter, that I speedran, of course. It was an absolute mess of an asset flip. And still think it is one of the worst games I've ever played. It's barely even a game. And I'll just smash it open, some morale boost. And then onward from the speedruns, I did a proof of concept, which really was the birth of what essentially would become this channel. It was just a proof of concept of beating every level in the game without getting hit and without using the gun. So I'm essentially just doing it pacifist and without getting hit. There were some levels that were difficult. I mean, a lot of them never got above 30 seconds, but there was those that definitely did. Let me see. Yep, level 25, nearly 5 minutes. I don't try to mention that atrocity. So, I ended up doing every single level, and I was really proud of myself for it, even though that most people would definitely not care. I mean, it's a game that no one's heard of besides me, essentially, and I mean, no one would want to watch a game as bad as this. But it was just that sense of accomplishment that I had done something difficult. And if you watch some of them now, you'll see a lot of really interesting things that I've done throughout it to make it worth watching for some videos at least. Personal recommendation is level 15 and 16. So after the first 22 levels of the proof of concept, I was I took a break, I think, because I don't. Yeah, it was either that. No, okay. So I took a break because I genuinely thought 23, 24, and 25 were impossible because of just the length they were or the obstacles that were placed. Yay, okay. I got my car completely repaired. So, as a sort of intermission, I uploaded a video called Pumpkin Moon Just Got Spookier. And that was the most interesting backstory for a video that no one would know until, I guess, now, because I'm going to tell it. But I'll get to it in a moment. So after Pumpkin Moon just got spookier, and you can follow along with me looking at my uploaded videos. I uploaded a video just titled Slap Hand. And that was Terraria again, and I used the Slap Hand to kill the Brain of Cthulhu in a melee speed focused build. And it was just some astronomical odds because the time that I just decided, you know what, I'm going to record this. Fallen Star, boom, kills the Brain of Cthulhu. Something out of a meme animation for Terraria where the Fallen Star just kills the boss last second, kills stealing. But it genuinely happened here, and if I had microphone recording, then you would hear my hysterical laughter because of how absurd it was. But then I thought about, well, yes, I guess the idea of fighting the only boss in the game that can take knockback with the knockback melee speed build is a bit cursed. But then I decided, you know what? We need more curse stuff. Stuff that makes people feel uncomfortable looking at it. So I made Slime King Falls into the Void and Despawns. And the title is very literal. Slime King just falls out of the map and despawns. Really? And I had to, so yeah, Slime King falls into the void and despawns. I had to do some world editing to make that possible. And then I uploaded the first episode of the World of Dungeon Guardian, and it was the first video where I had commentary on something. And all it was that I'd play expert mode, and every NPC in Terraria 1.3.5, I think it was, every NPC, so like merchant, guide, bird, Eye of Cthulhu, you name it, it was now the Dungeon Guardian. And it was just such an absurd concept but I just wanted to roll with it, just to experience it and see some really uh, peculiar things. So I just sent it off, and I mean, I was just into it. I wanted to make another one, so I did. I made World of Dungeon Guardian Episode 2, and I must say the thumbnails are pretty on point. The numbering, of course, was atrocious, but that was my own horrendous font that I made. Called not a font at all. I just made all the numbers with manipulating lines and paint buckets. And it continued on. It continued on through time, and then it stopped at episode 8, which was the episode that I killed the queen bee. And the reason I stopped there was because I just wasn't getting past Skeletron, and at that point, I feel like the joke had run its course. At that point, it was just a person that can't really play Terraria well trying to beat Terraria on expert mode with just a texture pack, essentially. It really lost its luster for me, so I stopped after that. I mean, there was even a big break in between the 7th and 8th episode, but I mean, I just, I don't know, it just lost its luster for me. Would I ever come back to continue the series? Probably not. I don't even know if the world exists, and if it does, I'd need to find a way to get 1.3.5. Oh, you're dying. You're not dying. Wow, okay. But I need to find the texture pack. I need to get Terraria 1.3.5. I need to make sure I have the world and the character both still intact to continue. And then it's just the question of, okay, well, I just make the episode where I kill Skeletron, and then it's just each boss, but I feel like every boss, we kind of get the point. We know what it's going to look like. It's going to look like Dungeon Guardian or some really chopped version of it if it's like a sprite sheet with animations. So I just, yeah, I don't know if I'd ever return, and if I would with that, I suppose it would just be showing off what Moonlord looks like, because I bet everyone's curious what Moonlord looks like. Moving on back, I continued the Cursed Terraria videos for a little bit. I made the tall tree, which spanned the height of a large world in its entirety, and then I proceeded to chop it down, and my game crashed. I then made the haha funny joke of Skeletron Prime and Prime Rib by replacing the arm bone segments with prime rib images. I know, I'm such a... And nothing of value was lost. Let's all be honest. Lori was dying eventually. Okay, so made Skeletron Prime Rib, and then I made what was probably my magnum opus of Cursed Terraria content, and that was the Wall of Distwins Prime. And all it was just a custom texture where I changed the wall of flesh to be made up of the sprites of the mechanical bosses. And I really put a lot of effort into it, because not only did I change the wall of flesh, I changed all the enemies that spawns, and I also changed some of the sound effects to, instead of it being like hitting flesh, it now sounded like the tinks of metal. And I was really proud about that little touch. People probably wouldn't have noticed unless if I pointed it out, but it's just a nice little thing. And then from there, I decided to just, continue on, try and make it a series, but I knew I wasn't going to top it. All I made was void trees, and that really didn't do much. And from there, that's all there was. Supposedly, but there was one video that I put unlisted. It was titled Melissophobia. And it was me running through the jungle, breaking every single larva to spawn a queen bee, and then fighting them all at once. But what I had failed to notice, because my game audio was muted, was that I was using the wrong sound effects, and everything had been bass boosted horrendously. So by the time I realized it, I just had this shock of realization. Oh crap! This can't be up. This can't be up. It's way too loud. People are going to not like it. So I took it down. And okay, you know what? For those who may be curious, I will link it in the description of this video. But continuing on, I continued making the pixel shooter proof of concept videos. Where is the door on this thing? What the? Okay, get in. Shh. Ugh, okay. Sorry, this is a little bit rough whenever you only have 3 team members and trying to focus on other things. Okay, so I made the 2019 highlights video, which of course was just World of Dungeon Guardian and then Pixel Shooter. No one really gave a crap. And then I made the video LOL 2019 to 2020 Happy New Year. And all it was just me looking at the timer, saying that I was about to turn to New Year, and then it turned to a New Year, and then I ended the video. And then after that, I started the Stardew Valley series because it was a game that I could record. And eventually, that I just stopped uploading because I don't really know. Stash of 10 medical. I'm recruiting Ernie. What's the stats exactly? Good loyalty. Good wits. Good enough. But yeah, Stardew Valley, it had a chance 2 episodes, and then I killed it off. And it's very sad because at the same time I killed off the Stardew Valley series, I also did kill off the World of Dungeon Guardian series. And then I finished up the pixel shooter no-hit gunless proof of concept stuff. And then from there, my channel just kind of disappeared. It didn't exist. And then I uploaded the LOL 2020 to 2021 Happy New Year video, where I recorded myself watching the previous video and then focusing in on my computer's clock, and then it ticks over to midnight. Welcome to the new year. You can take a guess what I'm going to do this year. And then from there, I was silent for a while, and then I made the Fists and Furniture only for Death Road to Canada normal mode. I do plan to do the Deadlier Road one eventually. I just, I need to be prepared for that. This heal spray is not doing wonders. What am I doing? I forget. And then from there, I started the Death Road to Canada Endless series about a month later. And that leads us to today. And then, of course, there was the VVV runs where they were not commentated at all, and it was just me trying to work it down to eventually deathless, because good old me wants to do stuff with a challenge. And then here and there, I noted some very interesting bugs and glitches for games. It was also around this time that I started getting back into streaming. And I enjoyed doing that, so I continued doing it. And then just fast forward, started uploading Hell's Other Demon stuff. And then the speedrun for West of Loathing. And yeah, here we are. That's kind of the entire journey that this channel's taken so far. And really, the only thing that connects a lot of the stuff I've made is I do it for the challenge. I mean, Pixel Shooter, it was trying to see how low of a time I could get it, and then beating every level in the most difficult way possible. Death Road to Canada, obvious, me beating the game without using weapons. And then, of course, me trying to beat endless mode, because we all know this is more of a challenge of patience than actual challenge. West of Loathing, if you look in the VODs played list, I did the amazing challenge run, where, I mean, the important things to note are that I was level 1, I was in hard mode, and I completed all major side quests. VVV, I tried to do deathless, essentially. World of Dungeon Guardian was just me showing off something really stupid, but that also stemmed from a challenge of patience where I manually replaced every single NPC file in the game with the Dungeon Guardian sprite. And the real only outlier there is the cursed Terraria videos, but that can just be summed up to stemming off of World of Dungeon Guardian. I like showing off challenges. And that's the kind of content that I want to continue to make. But this channel, as I previously have said, it's really only good for the now. Going to make sure that the whiz can get increased dexterity to max. Oh, well, it increases, so I guess it wasn't at the maximum. So yeah, I just like challenges. The way my channel works currently, it's kind of restricting. I don't know. I have some stuff in the works that I'd love to make videos about, but I don't think it would fit in the style of this channel. So for now, I probably won't do anything, because it'll take a while, of course, to get all the footage and then edit it down and then make sure everything's good. But then after that, it's just the question of, well, where do I upload it? Do I do it here? Do I make an entirely separate channel just for that style of videos? Because I honestly, challenge videos, one of my favorite genres to watch on YouTube. Whether it just be subtitles with their own brand of humor mixed in through the editing, or if it's just them commentating and explaining. I mean, either works for me. I enjoy watching the challenge videos because, really, it was kind of a big inspiration for me for a lot of the stuff that I do, especially on stream. It's just, what if I do this, but with this instead? So yeah, I just don't really know. I do need to look this up. The grease bonker slider, I'm going to assume, is the dexterity boosting? Oh, Eleanor. Yeah. So, that's my ramble. You are free to leave your input on this entire situation that's going through my mind down in the comments below. Oh. Oh, thank goodness the minigun was out immediately for this. So yeah, just, I don't know. Especially for those who tend to watch my videos quite a bit, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Just about everything I've talked about. But I mean, I suppose the most important thing... Oh, dear. Okay, there we go. I have to figure out how to drop it. But yeah, just most importantly, if I were to make edited down videos for challenge runs, what should I try and do? Should I make a new channel for it, or should I just try and see how it would fare here? Ultimately, it's my decision, but I'd love to hear what others think on the matter. Hold on, okay, yeah. Just needed to make sure that the encoding wasn't getting overloaded. Especially because I saw a tiny bit of stuttering, but it's probably because of the massive amount of zombos here. But yeah, that's all I have to really talk about. Which, I mean, this is probably one of the most talkative episodes I'll ever have of the series, but I don't know, I just want to do things, but I don't know where to go with it. Okay, that should get them out. Oh. And I suppose I should state this, but yeah. I'm always keeping an eye out for comments, and I'll try to respond to everyone as soon as I can. especially for a video like this. I guess one last thing I can say is the way I run this channel. I check YouTube Studio often for comments, and if I see I got one, I go and read it, and if it needs a response from me, I give my response. And for at least the main comment, I will give it a heart to acknowledge that I have read it. Just to make people sure that I didn't miss it or anything. So, I mean, if you see that you have a comment on one of my videos and it doesn't have that good old heart next to it, it just means I haven't read it. If I didn't like it, I don't know, it just depend on how much I didn't like it. If I didn't like it enough, I'd probably delete it. Nor then you'd know that I read it. Yeah, I've only had to delete spam comments so far. I think I've been recording for nearly an hour. And I think I've been talking for at least 50 minutes of that. Time flies, I guess. I'm not really sure what I'd want to put as a thumbnail for this video. I haven't really been paying much attention to the game. Clean up some zombies while our friend gets here. There you are. Last day. The Wiz built up defenses where the Wiz just says, I'll handle it. The Wiz takes a cowboy rifle from the settlers and hides in a tall place. When the bandits show up, he makes multiple amazing shots to blow out their tires. The bandits become too freaked out to continue the attack. Fight is over before it starts. The settlers are glad to give the reward. Power moving with a shot. strength training, weapons. Let's see. Tactical supplies. I'll buy the healing spray again. Mechanical training. Give 6 food for training. Ernie. Do I have a collection of eggs in my trunk? Okay. Suburb siege. Wait. Oh, that's where the other sword is. Forced spawns. Goal is just to hold here as long as possible. If worst comes to worst, we retreat in here. The goal of Death Road to Canada is to survive, and the best way to do that in sieges is to create choke points. You get a natural choke point here, all the zombos spawn here, you end up backing up, clear it out, work your way forward. Because of all the zombos mainly focusing up here, none will be coming down through here. If you start to get overwhelmed, dock into a home. All the raining zombos will come from above. Your allies can help take care of it while you cover the front door. Where only a small amount can get through because of, well, I mean, only one can go through the door at a time, and most of the time, they will end up blocking each other. I'll say morale and random skill gain. Soul Swan gains morale and Ernie gains mechanical. I'll just go to sleep. And with that, we have survived 280 days on the death road to Canada. I'd say that's pretty surprising. So with that, I'll leave all of you to whatever you may be doing for the rest of your day. I hope it's well. As for me, I'm gonna end this recording. Name it in the files, it's a proper thing. Then go to sleep because it's 3 a.m. Thank you all for watching. And I will see you all next time for another 10 days on the death road to Canada. Goodbye.